Welcome to Daily Life Connection. Thank you for joining me again today. Let's talk today about the God who talks to the storms. God who talks to the storms. In Mark, chapter 4, we have the wonderful story of Jesus being in the boat with his disciples, and they get caught in a big storm. He's asleep, and they wake him up, and he speaks to the wind, and he speaks to the waves, and he tells them to calm down and to be quiet, and they do. He is the God who talks to trees. We read the story of the fig tree when Jesus saw it, and it had leaves on it, which meant it should have fruit on it, and it didn't. And he cursed that tree, and it withered up. God who talks to storms and God who talks to trees. That sounds a little strange, doesn't it? But the reality is what Jesus is revealing to us here is that he has the authority over the physical realm. He has more power and authority over the physical realm than the physical realm has in itself. Storms can be powerful. Wind can be horrific. We've gone through several hurricanes here in Nova Scotia over the last number of years. And boy, they're only Category 1 or low Category 2 that have ever come across here. But the power in those winds. It just seems irresistible. And the power in the waves that batter the shore, just causing a huge amount of erosion and other issues. Such power in nature. The power of cancer to devastate lives and to take lives. There's such power in nature. But God wants us to remember, Jesus wants to point out to us, he has authority over that. None of that has the authority to have the final word in our lives. It may bring devastation, it may bring disease, it may bring difficulties and so on. It might even bring death, which is the great physical power, the greatest expression of nature to over life. But Jesus conquered death. He speaks to the trees, he speaks to the wind, he spoke to death. He has taken authority over every physical dimension of our universe. And the good news for that to you and I is that there are times when he calms our storms. There are times when he heals our diseases. But the reality is he ultimately has all authority over creation. And even when creation seems to bring destruction and even maybe death, the reality is the God who talks to trees and wind and waves will also speak to dead bodies and say, rise again, rise again. And that's really good news. He speaks to physical creation. He speaks to our physical bodies. So invite him to do that today. Why not just invite him, say, Jesus, speak into my physical being today. Speak into my physical surroundings today. Speak into the physical needs of my friends and my family today. Because he is a God who speaks, and his words carry more authority and more power than any physical issue that we may struggle with or deal with or face today. That's good news. The God who talks to the wind and the waves and to physical nature, and they have to obey him. They have to obey him because he has more authority. This is a good reminder for us today because I really think many of us struggle. It seems like the forces of nature are in our face. Disease or destruction or death, it just seems like it is right there, just taunting us in our face. And we need to be reminded that they don't have the last word. God speaks into those things. And what he speaks will have the final authority over them. That is a good reminder for us today. Let's think about it. We'll talk again tomorrow.